South's Cronulla game. They came at the 13-minute mark with this bomb by Baker. You might have seen the high tackle by Greg Nixon. He was sent from the field by the referee acting on a touch judge report for a head-high tackle. There it is again. Marty Gurr pounces on the loose ball to register his first try and indeed first points for South Sydney to lead by 6 points to 0. A penalty goal to Cronulla made it 6-2. Then at the 16th minute, Terry Murphy, a former Cronulla player, picked up a loose ball from Cronulla Sutherland and was in to score. Neil Baker kicked 8 from 8. This was one of them from the touchline, and so it was South Sydney leading by 12 points to 2. Souths, they frittered away a couple of other opportunities. This was a near miss for them, a bomb by Mario Fenech, and it went over the dead ball line. Now here's a great pass by Des O'Reilly, the man that nobody really wanted. And Robert Lane scores the try. It brings Cronulla back to 14 points to 8 with the conversion by young Greg Pearce, who played his first grade game yesterday and played well. Look at this ball from Des O'Reilly. That's a gem of a pass. Rob Lane doing exactly what a good halfback should do, backing up the big men through the rucks, and he was rewarded with the try. Pearce converted 14-10. And now here comes a try for Andrew Ettinghausen. You'll see a good piece of passing by the inside Cronulla backs, and then it was Jim C who got into the gap before it went out to Pearce. He kicks ahead. Now watch that incident there. It was a professional foul and it earned Mark Ellison time in the sin bin, but Andrew Ettinghausen scored and Pearce converted to make it 16 points to 14 at half-time in favour, would you believe, of the Sharks. Then we saw the second half and an awful bounce, a dirty bounce for Andrew Ettinghausen, and Ellison followed through his own kick to score, and South went to a 22 points to 16 lead. And then Michael Pobji got between the defence. He's got support to pick from left and right. Watch what he does now. Lofts it over, picked up by Niscott, turned back, Carberry following on, picks up the try. It's converted by Baker and 28 to 16. But Michael Pobji, he's got the ability to do some very talented things, and Niscott was able to back him up on this occasion. So was Carberry, and South were leading by 28 points to 16, and again Baker converted. As I said earlier, 8 from 8 for the former Canterbury player. Again, it was South letting the ball do the work before it went to Niscott. He is a real crowd pleaser down at Redfern. There he just simply stood, gave it to Gurr. Gurr did the rest. He got the ball away to Murphy quickly. He turned it back inside for Captain Courageous, and off went Ziggy Niscott for a try. And with the conversion, it made it 34 points to 16. The slow motion shows the strength of Ziggy Niscott. Players hanging off him, not coming over the top and putting him down until the number 12 eventually did. Gurr was taken around the legs. He did all he could. Back to Murphy. Murphy back to Niscott. And 34 to 16. The final try is scored by Marty Gurr. Incidentally, South took out the scrums 9-5, and the penalties went their way by 13 to 10. Here's Marty's second try coming up now, with Baker running into the gap, getting between them, turning it out to Murphy, back inside, and Gurr is in to score, and South running out a very easy winner, 40 points to 16, as we see the try again in slow motion. But this fellow is playing very well for South. He's very often the fulcrum from which South launched most of their attack, Neil Baker, and he's playing very, very well with the Rabbitohs. Murphy had a good game apparently, and Gurr picks up his second try. 40 to 16 to South. And so there are the point scorers for South, 40 to 16. Marty Gurr 2 tries, Niscott, Murphy, Ellison and Carberry tries, Baker 8 from 8, and for Cronulla, Andrew Ettinghausen and Robert Lane the tries. Greg Pearce, his first grade game, as I mentioned, no relation to the former Greg Pearce from Cronulla. He kicked 4 goals. The Dally M's judged by John Blanche, and David Boyle a 7, Mario Fenech a 6, and Greg Pearce took out a 5.
Cronulla were right in this game up until half-time, but they then started to feel the effects of having had their captain, Greg Nixon, sent from the field after the 12th minute, and of course this allowed South Sydney to run away with the match in the second half. But the good news for Cronulla supporters is that Greg Nixon was exonerated tonight by the judiciary, and to my mind that's a tremendous thing. I'm a personal friend of Greg Nixon's. I've coached him, and he's not a malicious player, and I know that while what Greg did would have looked bad, it certainly, and that wasn't the case. Ray, isn't that a good argument? But for trial by video, some players have complained about it. Now we hear we have the video saving a player.
Well, not just players. We've heard a lot of people say that trial by video is wrong, it shouldn't be, but there was a case tonight, and I think our pictures there today, and I couldn't say anything when doing that voiceover because that was done during the day, but it has got Greg Nixon off a rap that could have possibly got him 6 weeks on the benches or something like that. But there it is, Greg Nixon exonerated, but South, the Rabbits, too good against a 12-man Cronulla for the major part. Now, the